Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Liban. Got a new reaction for you today. The first episode of the Ringside Report for WWE 2K22, giving us a deep dive on the gameplay, which actually we haven't seen much of. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. WWE 2K22 has been cooking for a while now. So hopefully we can all get hyped for it, because I enjoy watching the WWE and I would like to get back into its games. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Lionel Jinx. I am the
director
of the WWE 2K franchise. And this time I'm not alone, y'all. I've got my homie with me. She is going to be with me along this journey, this ride. Christina, please introduce yourself.
Hey y'all, I am Christina Fam, art producer on WWE 2K22, and welcome to the inaugural episode of Ringside
I'm super intrigued
Report,
right now.
brought to y'all by the
How are
teams
you
at
doing
2K
this?
and Visual Concepts.
We're here to provide regular updates and deep dives into the many areas and features of WWE 2K22.
And this year we're introducing the WWE 2K22
Yo,
Ringside
Damien
Report,
Priest.
and you'll hear from Liban
Looks like
and
Damien
myself
Priest.
beginning now through the game's launch in March and after for the latest on DLC, patches, and other updates. And we're not gonna be taking this ride alone because we're bringing the homies from the dev team with us. So
Come on, bring them on, bring them on.
But before we dive into that, let's kick it off with a very quick conversation about visuals, because let's be real, if y'all take a look at WWE 2K22, you might see some massive differences from previous cycles. And this is the best looking game yet.
I mean, visually it is a lot better. I'm not even gonna cap
Lionel,
about
can you
that.
talk about how
The game does look
teams approach
visually a lot
production
better now.
differently this time around, starting with the superstars?
So the superstars, you know, in any WWE game are the backbone of the game, right? And so we have to make sure that we are doing our
Rollins,
absolute best on representing every
Baszler,
superstar to the
Taker.
best of our abilities. And in order for us to do that, we piggybacked on the same technology that you guys saw in NBA 2K 22, where you look at their
No.
details and just the
Dude.
likenesses look amazing.
Go
And so we shared
Berg.
that same technology and brought that into WWE 2K22, like the cross polarization scans, improved hair. Just to me, the amazing amount of detail that you'll see in our superstars is unparalleled.
Bianca Belair looks
And also the
legit.
teams have overhauled the lighting engine, and there's an all-new VFX engine as well.
Yeah, so lighting is everything, right? So like all of these details and everything that we poured into our superstars wouldn't mean anything if they weren't lit properly, right? And so if you take a look at this version of the game compared to any other year, like it looks like a broadcast. It looks photorealistic at times, and a lot of that is due to lighting.
Oh, I'm really getting that TV
And
feel
before
from
I
it
forget,
actually.
there's also
Just that
a
little
ton of new and
that little
improved
snippet there really
championships
gave me
as
like the
well,
TV
and,
feel. That's
one
sick.
of my personal favorites, mainly because it's the team I work with most closely, is the environments team. There are over 55 playable arenas, and we also have virtual crowd boards in the game as well. So you might see some
Thunderdome
familiar faces.
Oh yeah, not my ugly mug.
All right, we know what y'all been waiting for, so we have some folks in the waiting room. I'm gonna go ahead and invite all of them in. So, y'all, we're so excited today because y'all know who we got. Please welcome the gameplay leadership team, principal designer Jason Vandiver, senior designer Derek Donahue, and senior producer
Who the man
Jonathan Rivera.
without the camera on?
Y'all,
How dare you?
this is extremely exciting, and thank you so much for joining us for the first episode of Ringside Report. Okay, so I don't want to linger any longer because folks have been asking for gameplay for a very, very long time. Without further ado, the moment y'all been waiting for, we are going to show you a 1v1 match between Rey Mysterio and Damian Priest.
Thank you.
So let's roll the footage.
That's literally all they really need to show.
So at this point, one of the things we very intentionally called out to our fan base is that we have a redesigned gameplay experience. And starting with Jason, can you talk about what that means to you and how gameplay hits different?
In WWE 2K22, we have a completely new animation system. This system has allowed us to greatly improve the look and the feel of the characters.
It's a lot smoother. It feels a lot. It looks like a lot smoother. I can't tell how it feels
how
because
they align with each other.
I haven't played the game.
Has been completely
But it looks a
overhauled and
lot
redone.
smoother.
players are going to notice a significant difference the moment they pick up the controller. The characters are way more responsive than they've ever been. You no longer feel like you're fighting to control your character to get them into position to do what you want them to do. Strikes, dives, springboards, they all connect more precisely. And that's also something that we really struggled with and took to heart and tried to resolve this year. Another key change that we've made to the game engine
He kicked him
this
in the
year
leg,
is our
just
physics system.
threw a
While
fist
the
at his
series
head.
has always had Havoc to some degree, it was primarily used for only hair and clock simulation. For 2K22, we've completely integrated Havoc into gameplay, which has allowed us to introduce things like breakable props. The
Sweet.
candlestick starts to fray the more you use it. Tables, they break more dynamically. The chair even breaks. And even elements within the environment itself are now dynamically breaking, such as like the corner barricade, instead of relying on a canned sequence animation. It's a really big change and has helped to make the entire gameplay experience feel more dynamic.
Awesome. Derek, same question.
So for me, when we sat down to figure out how we were going to change gameplay for 2K22, one of the biggest things that we put as a priority was making sure the game is fun in a pick up and play kind of way. I want to be able to hand the controller to my friend who doesn't know anything about WWE, and I want them to still be able to have a good time and be able to just kind of hop in with
Pick
me.
up and play.
So we made sure that with our controls redesign, all of the core actions are something you can discover just by button mashing. You should be able to basically play through a match without having known anything beforehand. But another big priority for us with that is making sure we're not, smoothing over a lot of the details that returning fans like. So all of the high level of control that you expect to have with your character, all of the high degree of customization you expect, all of that still remains.
Okay, so you've mentioned new controls and
That's
mechanics.
interesting.
Combat itself is centered around 3 inputs: light attacks, heavy attacks, and grapples. So in this cycle specifically, what do those terms mean?
So light attacks, those are your quick strikes, the fastest attacks in the game. Heavy attacks, those are kind of like strong strikes from previous years. They're bigger, slower strikes, but they deal more damage. And then finally, grapples, those are where some of the bigger changes come into play. So you press the grapple button
Oh, you
once to
reversed
lock
it.
up with your opponent, but then from there you can press light, you can press heavy. Those will do your light and heavy grapples, but there's all sorts of other options. Irish whips, drag, carry, all of those things come from the grapple state. So once you grapple your opponent, you have a lot of possibilities opened up to you.
Okay, and I want to toss this over to Jonathan too. So opening up these possibilities, can you talk about some of the combo options that players can dive into?
Yeah, sure. I love how simple and engaging our new dynamic combo system feels. I don't need to memorize every superstar's moveset, but instead I practice the timing of my inputs in order to execute combos. Light attacks allow me to branch into a combo, and when I learn that light, heavy grab executes that move, I can take that and apply it to anybody I play with. I love the exploration that our game provides to encourage the user to play with many different
Combo based.
superstars and then choose whichever one is better suited for them.
Was it like that
And
in
if you don't like the
previous
combos
years?
that
I
we
don't
assign,
remember.
we also support customizing combos. I'm personally really excited to see what cool combos our community creates.
Okay, very quickly, I want to take it back to one point that Derek touched on earlier, which was about the accessibility of this game and being able to just pick it up and play. And I want to call this out mainly because I myself am a much newer player to WWE 2K. So for me, picking up and playing has been the whole experience.
Damn, Rey Mysterio's
the
hurting.
controls are super easy to learn. And while my own habits fall back
Wow,
on
that
button
pin.
mashing the controller, even though we have that, I
That
enjoy
pin, not
having
only
to be
was it
very
like
strategic and
kind of
intentional
slow,
about
but
how I'm
also there was no real
approaching this
impact to
game,
it.
especially when it comes to the timing of things like reversals or finishers. So I can definitely attest to, hey, if you're feeling intimidated by this,
Have I ever
please
seen Damien
don't.
Priest do
Pick it
that?
up,
Bloody
try
hell.
it out. You'll have such a
Kip
blast.
up into what,
But
Hurricane
also,
Runner?
if you're a vet and you've been playing this for a long, long time, can y'all talk about how vets can better show off their moves and what that means for the overall strategy of their experience?
So a lot of the strategy for our game comes with the new defensive options that we've added this year. So one of the biggest examples is breakers. Instead of reversals being the only tool for countering your opponent's attacks, grapples and combos actually don't use reversals. Instead, you counter them with a breaker. So when you're doing a grapple or a combo on your opponent, they can counter that attack by pressing the same light, heavy, or grapple input against you. So those moves are countered with breakers. Everything else is countered with a reversal. So knowing what kind of attack you expect your opponent to perform can already prime you to know how you want to counter it. So there's already a mind game at that level. Then you have blocking, which is all new. If you hold down the reversal button, you enter a blocking stance, and that lets you withstand light, heavy, and running attacks. And then you can counterattack faster than your opponent can after blocking.
That's actually true.
You can
You
also
couldn't
dodge
block
with the right
before.
buffer. So you can kind of choose a direction and get out of the way really quickly if you time your dodge correctly, but it's higher risk than a block. And then when you're on the ground, you also can button mash to get up faster, or you can press right bumper to do a quick get up at the cost of some resource. So when you have all of those defensive options available to you, it makes when you're on defense, it's a lot more strategic, but also when you're on offense, you have to be careful with how you want to attack your opponent so that they don't counter you.
So our community has been speculating about the HUD and like guessing like what, you know,
There's a lot going on there.
meters mean and all this stuff.
I think the pros would
Jonathan,
like that.
I'm gonna let you be the first to break this down and break the news, and let's dive
that
into
double stomp.
The HUD and give the community some clarity here.
So our goal
that
was to
pin is
create a HUD
way
that
too
strips
slow
down
for me.
all
I don't like
unnecessary
it.
aspects and simply gives the user the information that they need without distracting the user from the in-game action. So at the very top, you'll have the vitality meter, and this is basically your health bar. Below that, you'll find a special meter, which is a resource you want to spend
Damn,
to
Rey Mysterio's
perform
done.
signatures, paybacks, or defensive action. Finally, at the bottom is your finisher meter, where you can store up to 3 stocks.
Kicked out.
So there's one thing that's missing that I think a lot of people are like, where's the reverse stock? Can you talk a little bit more about like, you know, the changes we made there?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, obviously the biggest change that we made was removing the reversal stock from the HUD. We felt that 2K20's matches came down to how the users manage their reversal stock. We wanted to bring a bit more skill to a match by giving the users unlimited reversals, but making them a little bit more difficult to execute.
Unlimited reversals.
2K22, we get wild swings and back and forth and a bunch of oh-so-close moments that we really feel make the match memorable. And in addition to that, we added a new stun meter that shows up on the characters when it's close to being filled. So we're really excited to show off our new HUD and for our users to play with all of the new additions and our streamlined approach.
Cool. Like one of the things that, you know, at the end of the match where I'm like, you know, in previous years or, you know, iterations.
See, was that a reversal or did they dodge?
Once your opponent didn't have any
to the
reversal
right
stock, all you had to do was hit your Sega finisher, match was over. That's not the case anymore, right? Like someone can just pull out like a reversal and this back and forth. And so Derek, can you talk about the you know, how strategy is incorporated into that part of this new mechanic?
Yeah, so with reversals no longer being on a limit, that opens up a lot of possibilities for how your opponent can counter you, right? Like they could always pull a reversal out, or if you're
Frog
using
splash.
combos and grapples, they could hit you with a breaker. But the stun meter that Jonathan mentioned earlier, that's one of your biggest tools for making sure that you can pull off your biggest moves without getting countered. So lighter attacks, while they don't do as much damage to the vitality of the opponent, they're better at filling your opponent's stun. And if you can get their stun meter filled, that's your opportunity to perform an attack without the risk of getting a reversal or a breaker.
Button mashing is back, y'all. Like I love it. It creates a whole new level of like intensity in those tight matches. And yeah, like I gotta practice my finger strength on that just so I can beat everyone down when this game goes online.
Oh, it's over. That count is too slow for me, man.
All right, y'all, we can go on and on, but unfortunately we're out of time. So to close out, now that we're nearing the end of production, what are y'all looking forward to most for the game, whether for your own experience or with players specifically?
Give me more
Let's
oomph
start with
in that ref
Jason,
pin,
then
man.
Derek, then Jonathan.
I'm really looking forward to seeing how my ride turns out. We've been working so hard on gameplay that haven't really been able to look at the rest of the game. Those guys have been really working to deliver an awesome story this year. And from everything I've seen, they're ready to deliver.
You two, get in the ring.
For me,
Is that Beth
it's the
Phoenix?
backstage, the completely redesigned backstage. I think people have only seen a small peek of. There's a lot of really cool stuff going back there, especially with the verticality.
And for me, I'm super excited to see Rey Mysterio in our showcase mode, playing some classic matches that were recreated for
Yeah, this looks
WWE 2K22.
amazing.
So I think people are.
I don't know if it's just it. Yeah,
Awesome.
see?
Well, again, thank you so much for joining us.
That
for
looks really
the
cool.
First Ringside Report ever for this
That's
cycle.
messed up. You didn't even ask me, Christina, like what I'm looking forward to. That's just messed up. You're gonna leave me
But
out.
we'll take it back. We'll take it back. All right, rewind. Lionel, what are you most excited for?
It's everything, right? Like, you know, I've been fortunate enough to like have my hand in, you know, every single cookie jar, and as you can tell, like this COVID weight ain't going away anytime soon. But yeah, like you know, it's seeing, you know, what we're doing on the gameplay side and how that bleeds into universe and how it bleeds into my rise and my GM, my faction, like it. We've done so much in the time that we have, and I'm just super excited for everyone to get their hands on with it and just have fun. Like again, like just practice now, practice your thumb strength because you're gonna need it.
Your thumb strength already.
Do thumb exercises, little thumb push-ups.
Y'all, so that again, that wraps it for our first Ringside Report. Thank you to Jason Vandiver, Derek Donahue, and Jonathan Rivera for joining us.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Eddie's coming.
Oh my God.
Was I supposed to?
You
Was I
committed to the
supposed to
bit.
leave?
No, I
supposed
think
to
that
leave?
was.
Okay, so once again, for real this time, thank you to Jason, Derek, and Jonathan for joining us. And thank you to all of you, the player community, for tuning in for our first Ringside Report. We are so excited to release this game, and we can't wait for y'all to get your hands on it.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for joining us, and thank you all for tuning in. We will talk to you all soon. And in the meantime, check us out on social media at WWE Games.
Okay, bye.
Peace.
All right, that was the first Ringside Report. Interesting stuff. Very interesting stuff. You know what? That was actually pretty good. That was pretty good. I enjoyed watching that. The team looks like they're having a lot of fun making the games this time around, especially with all the little cuts and bloopers there. The gameplay looks pretty solid. Movement looks pretty smooth. Easy to pick up and play. You can button mash. There's a lot of options for veteran players as well. So it looks like it's going in a good direction, and the game is coming out pretty soon. Hopefully there'll be a demo. I think that would be pretty nice, and it could convince a lot of people to pick it up. But that was the first Ringside Report for WWE 2K22, showing us a lot more gameplay. What did you guys think? Does the game look great to you? Could you care less? Does it look bad? Let me know down in the comments below. If you have enjoyed the video, please do of course click that like button, as YouTube loves when you click like on the video. And please do of course hit that subscribe button and keep notifications open. Hit subscribe as there are new videos on the channel every week, such as this one, which I hope to see you on next.